Hi, this is Zach Anderson, and in this video I will be going over Lab 2, Part 2, which is focusing on the UDP, the User Diagram Protocol. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So here we have all of our captured packets from Wireshark, and we've already filtered UDP, so we can jump directly into question number 1, which is asking to determine how many fields there are in a UDP header. So we can come down here and click on some of the more advanced information, and we can simply just count 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a source port, a destination port, the length, and the checksum, which equals 4 fields in the UDP header. Moving on to number 2, we are asked to determine the length in bytes of each of the UDP headers. So each header is worth 2 bytes of data. So simply from this, we can determine that 2 times 4 is 8, so we're going to have 8 bytes, which would account for 2 per field. Moving on to number 3, so the value in the length field is the length of what? So I was able to consult the text for this, and basically this just goes back to the total number of bytes that are in the UDP segment. Super easy, so we can kind of click on some more information here. This is just more insurance type stuff when you go through all the specifics. But we were able to successfully confirm this, and with that we are good to move on to number 4. So what is the maximum number of bytes that can be uploaded in a UDP payload? Gives us a hint that the answer to this question can be determined by number 2. So the answer I got for this was, so the answer on number 2 is 8, correct? So we can then use that number to determine the maximum number of bytes in this specific payload, which comes out to 65,527. Now, we get that answer based on number 4 and number 5 are very similar. So since we get this answer, we're basically calculating the maximum number of bytes, but we have to subtract the 8 from the header, the 8 bytes, because that's already taken. So that can then inform answer number 5, which is asking what the largest possible source port number is, and that's going to give us 65,535. So going on to number 6, we see what is the protocol number for UDP. Give your answer in both hexadecimal and decimal notation. To answer this question, you need to look into the protocol field of the IP diagram. So we can then look here, the internet protocol, so let's go to here. And what we're looking for right now is the protocol number in both hexadecimal and decimal notation. So we can see that in, we can see that for number 6, the decimal number is going to be 17, but if we were to transfer this over to the hexadecimal, it would be 0.11, basically 0 to the 11th. And like we said, it's found in the protocol field of the IP header. So we see that we have this IP header right here, so we can actually enlarge this to look through everything. And once we scroll through this a little bit, we are going to find our 17, and we're going to be able to transfer that into a hexadecimal number, and then we are good to move on. So for the final question, we are looking at 7, so it's basically examining a pair of packets in which your host sends the first packet, and then the second packet is a reply, and it's a very simple relationship. It's a very simple relationship because this is just an inverse. So the source port of the reply will match the destination port of the request, and vice versa. That should be it for all of part 2 of lab number 2. Thank you for listening.